Create a new project from your IDE. Give it a group ID io.fabricate.vmp. Give it an artifact ID vmp run demo and click next. To give your project a project name, in this case I'm typically using it as vmp run demo as my artifact ID as my project name, and the location is somewhere in my local Git repository where I want to store the project. Once you have these details finished, just hit finish to get the project imported into the IDE. Once you see the project imported in IDE, go to the terminal and navigate to the project folder and execute the command mvn io.fabricate Vert.x Maven plugin. And the plugin version used is 1.0.2 setup. So this will set up the Vert.x Maven plugin on a project, add some Vert.x code dependencies, and initialize and package goals by default added to the project. Since the setup had added only the package goal to the project, we now need to add the run goal as a new execution to the Vert.x Maven plugin, which will allow us to run the Vert.x application from our Maven project. We could also do it without an addition of an execution, but adding execution helps us to tie the run goal to a Maven phase and add any specific configurations that might be required. Having added the run goal to the Vert.x Maven plugin configuration, it's time for us to add the Vert.x vertical to the project. As this demo application will be running a simple HTTP server, we will add the Vert.x web dependency to the project. Since Vert.x is dependent on Java 8, we need the Maven compiler source and target version to be set to 1.8. We set that by adding the two properties Maven compiler.source and Maven compiler.target set to 1.8. We'll also add a Vert.x Maven plugin specific property called Vert.x.vertical, which will be a fully qualified name of the main vertical of the application. In this case, it will be io.fabricate.vmp.block.main vertical. Let's now create this package io.fabricate.vmp.blog and add our main vertical class to it. As any in Vert.x vertical, this extends from abstract vertical and overrides the start method. We will now create a router which will be used to handle all our web requests. For the application, we'll make this router handle only the root URI and respond to the user with a simple hello world message. Finally, we create the HTTP server, start it, and make it listen on port 8080. Having added this vertical, it's time for us to see how to run the application. To start and run the application from Maven, you will need to use Vert.x run goal. Use your IDE to start the Maven command with the goal Vert.x run. Once the application is started, you can do a simple curl to localhost 8080 to see the server responding with a hello world message. We have an application returning as hello world. The run goal right now does not do hot deployment, otherwise redeployment of the application when there is changes to the sources. To make our application do hot redeployment, we need to add the redeployment parameter to the Vert.x Maven plugin configuration. To do that, let's first stop the running application and add the redeployment configuration to the Vert.x Maven plugin. Once we enable the redeployment, let's start the application again. We now see the Vert.x has launched the application with the redeployment mode enabled and ready to redeploy the application whenever there are changes to the sources. The Vert.x Maven plugin has a built-in incremental builder that watches for the changes of Maven source bars such as src main and triggers compilation of the sources once there are changes. When the redeployment is enabled, the Vert.x Maven plugin also passes the extra redeployment argument to the Vert.x run command, which scans for the project classes folder to trigger redeployment whenever there are changes. Let's see that in action. Let's see what our application still returns. Doing a curl, we still get the hello world. Let's go to the sources and modify the hello world to be a goodbye world. The moment we say the sources, we see the Maven incremental compiler kicking in and Vert.x redeploying the application. And when we now do a curl, we get a goodbye world. The redeploy also works for the web and other resources that might be part of the application. To get into the demonstration, let's first stop the running application. For this demonstration, I will use Thymeleaf templates, hence I would add the Vert.x Thymeleaf dependency to the project. Let's now add a simple Thymeleaf template. Create a folder templates in src main resources. Add a HTML file called as index.html. Give it some title if you like. I'll go and add a simple header tag which will use Thymeleaf text attribute to display the message from context parameter called as message. You could have seen that I have not closed the get method with a closing parenthesis. Let's see what happens because of this in few seconds. I would also need to add the names Thymeleaf namespace. Once we're done with this HTML, let's go and modify our main vertical. I'll remove the chain response which you're already doing it and modify it to add the context parameter called as message, making sure there is no typos across. Once I do that, I'll go and define the Thymeleaf template engine. The template engine now will take care of handling the response back to the user. So whenever the response comes to the root URI, the template engine will take care of taking the index.html and sending that HTML as part of the response to the user. Just making sure that if something goes wrong, we didn't have failure back to the console. So once we did with the update, let's go and restart the application. Once we see the application is restarted, open the browser and go to the URL localhost 8080. At first we could see an internal server error. This is because of the error that we have induced. Let us go and fix it by adding a closing parenthesis. The moment we save this, the Vert.x Maven plugin does a redeployment, and then you could see the goodbye world coming back in our browser. To doubly make sure, let's go and do one more thing. Let's go and change the response message to be hello Vert.x, and you could see the redeployment happening again, and the refresh will now say hello Vert.x. Thank you, and hope you have enjoyed this small video on how to use Vert.x Maven plugin with run goal with redeployment. You can check for more details on https://bmp.fabricate.io. Thank you.